should I leave with my 7-month-old? My boyfriend, M26, and mine's, F23, relationship started weirdly in general. I was living with my ex, and he was our neighbor. We became friends over our shared interest in video games, and we became a couple after I moved out. The previous relationship wasn't healthy, more situationship, and it mainly stemmed from the fact that I was in a deep alcohol binge for about a year. But I have been sober for 18 months, yay. As you can assume, I was in this binge when I met my boyfriend. We had tons of fun at first, but after I became pregnant and sober, it's like I can see this whole other side of him. When I told him I was pregnant originally, he disappeared for a whole week because he broke his phone although he knew where I lived and worked. I didn't get my license until 1 month after we had our son. I tried discussing with him while I was still pregnant if he'd see a doctor or talk to a counselor of some sort. He's fine 1 minute, and it's like a switch is flipped with him, and he's just angry. After we had our son though, it's been a constant battle with him. We currently live with his family but we visit and play D&D with my parents every weekend. My parents have given us so much support, just bought us a new Suburban which he uses as a daily driver, give money to us if we're in a pinch, help with our son, and yet he is rude to them every weekend. He'll be playing game with everyone all fine and then his switch flips and everyone knows he's now in a bad mood. He curses at everyone, or just ignores people, he slams the doors and makes nasty comments. His parents are just as sweet and adore our son, he acts the same around them and when I approach his mother about it, she says I need to cut him slack. He has a short fuse with our son, who's literally an infant and can't help it. After 10 minutes half the time, he's pissed off at him and is manhandling him, which in turn only makes me so damn angry. The real kicker to our relationship, though, is sex. Before we had our son, we were just as active as a young, healthy 20-year-old couple should be. While I was pregnant, it was pretty often as well too. Since we've had our son, things have dramatically changed, and I have sat and attempted to discuss this with him. I feel like this partly weighs on me, but I'm not sure. I do believe my sex drive has dropped, although I don't know if it's hormones or him in general. We are intimate generally 2 to 3 times a week now. Except it's every day he's asking, and the second I say I don't want to, is generally when he gets an attitude as well. And it just ruins everyone's day. Half the time I do say yes now, it feels like it's only so we can hopefully have a good day, and yet, it never does because once we do, he will spend hours asking me for anything more. To the point that he has skipped going to work some days, he works for his dad. I worked once our son turned 3 months old but between driving 2 hours every day, only working 4, pumping milk and it began to affect my supply. It only lasted 2 months before we mutually agreed that I would take care of our son until he was at least off the boob. This same weekend our son was fussy at 5 am, teething, and while I was attempting to rock and comfort our son, my boyfriend got in my face aggressively like he wanted to fight. I'm 103 pounds right now, slightly underweight. He's over 200. After that instance, I started journaling. I've read that it'll help me if I do decide to leave but I'm just worried I'm doing it too fast. It's the constant hostility and aggressiveness. I'm making this post because of what happened this morning actually. It was a little before 6 a.m. and I got up and moved sides so I could switch the breast our son was eating on without moving him. My boyfriend came in close and I thought he was gonna cuddle me like usual, but instead he started grabbing at my legs and crotch hard. It hurt. I tried to be nice because I honestly thought he might just be asleep but he was grabbing and trying to get me to asterisk you know. Which I especially don't care to do while I'm feeding our child. After a few minutes and a couple ouch and babe that hurts, he grabbed our son's feet, moved him and then grabbed me even harder. I immediately shot up in bed and told him you need to stop grabbing me like that. If you put your hands on me like that again, I will get up and leave right now. He just huffed and rolled his back towards me so I switched back to my original side with our son. Then 2 minutes later, while I'm trying to fall back asleep, my boyfriend took him from my arms and rolled over again. This is the regular day today. I've been telling myself that maybe it's me, maybe after 2 years my hormones will go back and I'll be happy with him again. I had divorced parents and my dream isn't for my first and probably only child to have the same thing, but I also know that this environment cannot be right for him either. I know it's a lot, but should I just leave? How would I even do that?